Hello, everybody. I'm Matt with Rollinish, and today we're going to talk to you about how to play D&D. And one of the first things you're going to need to play this game is a set of polyhedral dice. Usually comes in about sets of 7 different dice, and you absolutely are going to need them for this game because the dice tell the story. All right, so to play D&D, before you even make a character, one of the first things you're going to need is a set of those dice. And today I have my Beetle and Grimm's Game Master dice. It comes with a lot more than what you would need as a player. So I'm just going to grab the set of 7 that I want to talk to you about because that's what you would need to play. I'll grab those and we'll talk about each one and we'll have a little bit of fun. And I'm going to do these in order. It's a set of 7 dice, starting with the D4 on our lovely Rollinish tray by Forge Gaming. Tune in to our stream of Wild Beyond the Witchlight. We're calling it Beyond the Big Top. That should be hitting YouTube in October of 2022. We'll be giving one of these away. Anyway, this is a D4. It has 4 sides, right? I'm going to use a pencil to kind of just illustrate that it has 1, 2, 3 sides of a triangle, and of course the bottom side that it's resting on is the 4th side. Each side is numbered with 3 numbers between 1, 2, 3, or 4, and that way when you roll, it is going to be a random roll. Couldn't see that one, so we'll do that there. This particular D4 has a number on top, and that's the number that you would go with. So I rolled a 1 here with my 4-sided die. So this die is typically going to be for smaller, simple weapons. Maybe you are a monk and you have a boomerang, or maybe you have a dagger that you're using. That's what the D4 will be doing for you and that dice. The next dice I want to talk about is pretty standard. You're going to see this shape of dice in most board games that have dice. This is your standard 6-sided die. There are 6 sides and it is numbered as such. I rolled a 3. So more simple weapons that are a little bit stronger than what a D4 would use a D6. So maybe something like a club or I think a short sword does a D6 worth of damage. That is going to be the dice you would use for that kind of weapon playing this game. The next dice in the set is the 8-sided die. So you can see here that there are 4 sides on the top, and if I flip it over, there are 4 more sides on bottom, so a total of 8-sided die, and they are numbered accordingly. As we increase the strength of the weapon, the damage dice will increase. So perhaps you have maybe a rapier or some kind of long sword. It might deal a D8 worth of damage. And with that, I rolled a 6. The next die in the set is the 10-sided die. So it looks circular, almost like a diamond shape if you hold it from a certain angle. But it has 5 numbered sides on top and another 5 on bottom. Rolling a 0 is the 10 on the 10-sided die. So sometimes people are like, oh, I rolled a 0, newer players. It's like, no, you didn't. You rolled a 10. And that is fantastic. I just rolled a 7 on my D10. And as we increase in the strength of weapon, the die will continue to grow. This is a 12-sided die, for obvious reasons. Something like a great axe, something like that might have require a D12. Whenever we talk about our dice, we say D as in dice, and then the number of sides it has. So a D4 would be a 4-sided die. A D12 would be a 12-sided die. And on this weapon roll, I rolled a 5. This looks familiar, right? This looks almost identical to the D10. It has 10 sides to it. Pardon the glare there. And they are numbered as double digits, starting with 00 and working its way up to 90. This is a percentile die, and this is often used in chance situations. As a dungeon master, I might answer a question, hey, what do I know about this particular subject or creature? I could do a nature check, I could do a history check, something like that. But to spice it up, I might say, I don't know, let's leave it up to chance. and roll me a percentile die. I might have them say call high or low, right? I'm going to call high. Okay, you need to roll higher than a 60. If it's higher than a 60, you know that thing. And I'll give you some information about it. If you roll lower, then, you know, so-and-so. But that's the kind of thing you might do that. There's a lot of tables for magic items that you might find, or maybe as a dungeon master, you're creating a dungeon or some kind of lair and you want to put some loot in it. There are tables within the Dungeon Master's Guide that tell you to roll this dice to determine what is in that room or whatever that you're creating. Sometimes you might even accompany it with a D10 so you can get the full percentile. So I rolled a 40 and a 9. That means I rolled a 49 out of 100. And that's how the percentile works. But most often, you are going to be rolling and using your D20, the 20-sided die. When you are in combat, it doesn't matter what your bonus modifiers are, and we'll talk about bonus modifiers when we create a character. It doesn't matter what your modifiers are. In combat, if you roll a 1, you automatically miss. In combat, if you roll a 20, we call that a natural 20 or a critical hit. That is important to differentiate because it is the most celebrated thing in this game. As far as rolling dice is concerned, you roll a 20, it is automatic success in combat. And often will double the damage die you get to roll. So if the weapon you're using is requires you to roll a d12 when you hit, and you roll a natural 20 on your 20-sided die, I rolled a 1, look at that. I might tell you to roll 2 of those instead of 1 to double up the damage because you rolled a natural 20. It should be special. It should be celebrated. Typically, we'll double up the damage there. But that is why there are 7 different kinds of dice. The D4, the D6, the D8, the D10, the D12. These are all your weapon damage dice. That's what those are going to be rolled for typically in combat to determine what the damage is going to be. Like I said, your percentile die may accompany the D10 to get the full range of 0 to 100. Those are going to be, rolls for things of chance or rolling on tables. But like I said, most of the story is going to be told rolling your D20. If you're a fidgety person like myself, this may never leave your hand the entire night because I might just keep it in my hand and, just play and roll with it. But the D20 is going to be the story, what helps us tell the story. I'll put it on 20 there. So what I would recommend before you even make a character, get 1 or 2 sets of these dice. 1 or 2 sets of polyhedral dice is pretty much what you need as a player. Anything more than that is a collection, right? And I collect dice, so I will never speak ill against somebody who just buys dice and buys dice and buys dice because it's all I do. But that's what you're going to need even before you make a character, because when you start watching the videos that we're going to make about creating a character, you need dice to help you create that character. So make sure you have these. Like I said, some great companies that I loved is Forged Gaming, Dice Envy, Norse Foundry, Level Up Dice, Die Hard Dice. I love them. Check out those websites. You can Google any one of those. This is not a sponsored video. These are just the companies whose dice I love. Foam Brain Games also makes really good dice. Check them out as well. And worst comes to worst, you could always go on Amazon and pick up a set of polyhedral dice or multiple sets for really cheap and have it in your home pretty quickly. All right, so go get your dice and come back to Roll-A-Niche and we'll teach you how to make a character. Stay tuned.